at the Philadelphia Convention on day 3, and I'm with David Plouffe, probably one of the best people in the world to talk about the upcoming general election as the architect of President Obama's '08 campaign, and now global strategist for Uber. David, thanks very much for joining us. Now, you ran what was considered to be pretty much the optimal campaign in '08. What is it that you would do differently for this campaign, for the Hillary Clinton campaign, to defeat Donald Trump that they're not doing? What is it that you think they could be doing that they are not?
I don't think it's so much what they're not doing. They just have some remaining challenges and opportunities. So they're going to have to drive Democratic turnout very high, recreate as much of the so-called Obama coalition as they can. So they've got to focus on that. Then they have opportunity. Barack Obama did very well in suburban areas of battleground states, but she has the opportunity to do even better, I think, against Trump, particularly suburban women voters. So they got to really focus there. And then there's going to be a battle for blue-collar voters. Trump's going to try and maximize there. So I don't think they know that. They're trying to address that, but they need to come out of Philadelphia, I think, here with Democrats being as passionate about Hillary Clinton being president as they are about defeating Donald Trump. And you don't win the presidency in America without winning the moderate vote. I don't think Trump has really developed a message that appeals to moderate votes. Hillary Clinton has to also do this. It just can't be a speech to the base Thursday night. It's got to be something that the true swing voter in Northern Virginia or in the suburbs of Denver, Colorado, is attracted to.
Now, one of the key differences between Obama in '08 and Hillary Clinton today is the trust and approval and likability ratings, different ends of the spectrum. How do you get Hillary's likability and trust numbers back to a reasonable, winnable number?
Well, no candidate has 100% strengths. So this time, 8 years ago, we trailed John McCain on questions around foreign policy and national security by 30 or 40 points. And we eventually, closed that gap. So I think, her overall favorable, unfavorable rating, I would like to see that get at least even. Right now, she's underwater. If she does that, some of those trust numbers will come up. I don't think she's going to enter the election with her trust numbers above 50. That's going to be something, but I think she's got to turn that debate around to, listen, I think I'm a trustworthy person, but who do you trust to fight for your family, to create jobs, to expand healthcare, to fight global warming? I think there's a different way to answer that question, but that's going to be all the way in. Those numbers aren't going to be what you'd like them to be. But, it's the old story about two people who come across a bear in the woods, and the one person says, how are we going to outrun that bear? And the other person said, I don't have to outrun the bear, I just got to outrun you. She just got to be viewed more favorably and more trustworthy than Donald Trump. She's got a lot of advantages right now where people, I think, see her as more presidential, more someone who's going to fight for the middle class, but she's got to make sure she outdoes Trump in those areas.
Of course, the official advice for any children watching is if you see a bear, don't run, but just to make sure. Just to clear that one up. But if you go outside the Beltway and you ask people what is Trump's plan, they'll go, oh, the wall, pull out of NAFTA, the simple bumper sticker stuff that they remember. Hillary, they don't really have an answer. What should the answer be in your view?
Well, I think she needs to come out tomorrow night with most people in America who witnessed her speech having a very clear sense of what she's going to do on the economy generally and to create higher wage growth and make sure that prosperity is more broad-based. That's what she has to come out with. Now, I will say Trump, people know about the wall, they know about trade. He has not filled in the rest of the message. One of the sins, I think, of Cleveland was if I was Donald Trump, which I'm glad I'm not, but I would have come out and said, let me tell the American people very clearly what I'm going to do to create jobs, create economic growth, and bring wages up, and go beyond the wall and trade. He hasn't done that. It's almost malpractice. So she has to make sure she comes out of tomorrow. Yeah, she's going to talk about important issues like healthcare, like global warming, terrorism. But she's got to really focus like a laser beam on the economy so that people get a sense that, okay, I trust that she's got people like me in mind when she makes decisions, and she's got some good ideas and plans.
Now, you mentioned the base, that she's got to go beyond just inflaming the base to vote. But if you look at the roster so far in Philadelphia this week, and of course Trump's roster in Cleveland last week, they're both going for the base, and hers is non-whites, women, millennials, etc., and his is white males, as far as I can tell. Has she missed an opportunity to bring, for example, the relatives of police who were shot dead last night, Tuesday night, onto the stage, you know, with those who are relatives of people who have been shot by the police. Was that a little bit too basy and not enough general?
I don't think so. I mean, honestly, I think that's kind of a Fox News narrative. So, you know, she has spoken about obviously her deep admiration for police officers. I'm sure she'll appear with both family members and police officers, no. But I do think it's important that, you know.
It's also a David Axelrod point, I have to say. But.
Well, you know, he's mostly right, not always. No, but listen, you're not going to be able to do everything in the convention. I look back at both of our conventions and there's things we would have done differently. But I think that it's very important, though. Presidential campaigns are two sides of the coin. It's how do you maximize turnout, but also how do you win the moderate vote. And I think she has an opportunity, even with her numbers not being as strong as you'd like, to become the choice for more moderate voters. So to me, I would have that firmly in mind tonight and the rest of the campaign. Yeah, we got to maximize the Obama coalition and turnout, but we have to win the moderate vote, because he or she who wins the moderate vote becomes the President of the United States.
So final couple of questions. One is, if there's one number you're going to be watching between now and November the 8th, other than headline polls, what would it be? What's the sort of key demographic you're going to be nervous about?
Well, it's interesting. So most of the public polls don't get into this level of detail, but the campaign's able to get in this level of detail. So I look at some key counties, Loudoun County, a suburban county, and even exurban outside of Virginia, Jefferson County outside of Denver, Colorado, Hillsborough County in Florida, Washoe County in Nevada. These are, you know, swing counties. And if you win them, you win the state. So the campaign needs to be looking at that data very, very close. I mean, if I was a media organization, I'd actually do some polls just in those counties.
Very interesting, David. Thanks so much for sparing the time.